Thank you, Shamsa. Next is Catherine, please.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to make this point that the World Health Organization said it's a global health crisis, and it is. It doesn't matter where you are. The statistics might be, you look at Kenya and they're shocking, but then you look at England and 97% of women have had any sort of groping, sexual harassment. Basically, fact is, all women worldwide live in fear of having any sort of attack, whatever it be. And I mean, I have to say, my daughter, just for personal experiences, she just lately visited her grandparents in Germany, and she was wearing sort of a bit of tight jeans and a bit of a knot, sort of having a free belly button and just looking really nice. And her grandmother said, she called me, she was very upset. Her grandmother said, don't walk out, don't get on the train dressed like this, you know, you're setting yourself up to be raped. And she was really upset about it. But, and I said, oh, you know, grandmother, it's the old days. But in reality, I don't say it, but I'm still worried if my daughters look great and they look beautiful and they walk out. Mm-hmm. So as Jamila was saying, it's 2020. And mothers have still the same fears, even if we don't say it. We still fear for our beautiful daughters to walk out looking beautiful. And we're still focusing on the women, not on the men. I mean, they can't control their urges. I mean, I can see a lot of beautiful men and they're flexing their muscles and they're wearing tight jeans. And I say, woo, I really like him. Does it mean I have to touch him or say something to him? And the same for Chico, you were saying she just wanted to go and have a drink with him. It doesn't really matter what her motivation was. Maybe she met him and she really would like to have sex with him. She went with him into the building, into the 12th levels. She was wearing a short skirt. And while they were having drinks, she decided, oh, actually, I don't like him. I'm not. Sorry, mate, I'm going to go home. And he just couldn't accept it. So again, it's not about her, it's about him, and him not being able to control his whatever was going on. And then you have a few radio presenters laughing and having a good session, because it's not, we don't even know what these men really think, but they knew where the market was, because they had to sell their program and the market liked them to be the rugby, football, whatever, you know, having a good joke at it. And that is what really upsets me. And yes, we need alliances, we need accomplices amongst men, especially in these very male sort of environments, because we know there's a lot of very good men, and most of us are probably married to one of them. But we need those men that sort of meet in rugby clubs and I don't know, motoring or whoever, to speak out and say, hey, this is not funny. I'm not going to follow, I'm not going to listen to your radio station, because what you're doing, that's disgusting. And yes, let's focus on the men and not focus on the victims.
Exactly, Catherine. There's too much focus on the victims, on women, on women's behavior, women's actions. Why? You know, why shouldn't it, like you said, even though she went there with the intention of having sex, why can a woman not change her mind and not be attacked because of it? It's just ridiculous.
She could be a sex worker, and have decided to, as long as he hasn't paid, and if she at any point decides she doesn't want to do the job, she should be able to say, no, sorry, I'm going to walk out, keep your money, I'm not interested. And it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, no means no.
Not to those statistics. It might be a problem here and there on whoever, but not looking at these statistics. I mean, as Jamila said very rightly, it's 2020 and we're still, sorry, 2021. I have moved on. It's like the last year, Corona, last year didn't exist. I'm still in 2020. 1 year was just erased. And we're still discussing the same issues. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's you're right, Catherine, and we do need allies. I saw a quote before that not all men practice violence against women, but all women live with the threat of male violence every single day. That was Ford Alak-Barov. So this is a reality. When we know they're good men, yeah, we know they're good men, but we need these discussions to happen with men as well, for men to call out other men, for men not to do this peacocking of trying to show off how masculine they are, making jokes like these radio presenters did, but instead to call out toxic behavior and to have discussions around it.
Yeah.
Thank you. So next is Imani, please.
So the fact that Catherine mentioned that mothers are still scared when their daughters go out. Me and my mom actually had a talk about it, how she used to be scared every time I was going out to town and I was coming home late and I wasn't good at having my phone charged. I'm better now though. But she was always
we know that.
But I was always she didn't know where I was and she was very worried. And then about it for a long time. And this is coming from a country like Denmark, which was many times has been #1 in the most equal country in the world. Now that makes you think a lot, because people in Denmark like to think we are equal here. There's no problems here. But one big problem we still have is the sexual harassment and the blame being given towards the victim, and many people, even young people, my own experience, having a very rapey mentality. And when I mean rape, it's not just I will force you down and when you say no and I still force myself on you, that's alone is rape. There's so many things that's rape. And I think the reason why men get so defensive when it comes to this is because they have realized they have done something that's actually may have been considered rape, and they don't want to be blamed by it and have that past shown. Because many think, like a good example is how many men, also young guys, like to push girls to drink, get them drunk. Now, why is that? Because when you're drunk, you can't think properly. You say you're easy for them and they can take advantage of you. So that's already having a very rapey mentality. They probably raped and they just didn't really think about it. They think rapes is saying, like, raping is when a woman says no, but you still do it. No, it's not. Anyway, I also wanted first to talk about a trend or a movement going on social media, TikTok, where women spread awareness of being experiencing sexual assault or videotaping while they've actually being harassed by someone, because people like to say we don't believe you, but here's the proof. I'm actually filming it here. A survey in the UK where they showed that 97% of women have experienced sexual harassment. That says a lot. And that from that, many women on social media have been trying to spread awareness that this is true. We all in some way or another experienced it. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you very much, Imani. And the reason we like this panel is because we get also young women's opinions, and it's good to hear about things that we didn't even know about. I didn't know about this movement on social media where young people are sharing proof and sharing about sexual assault, and that it's got so much of a following. So thank you for sharing that with us. I love the younger generation because they use social media as a platform to raise awareness on social justice issues and equality. And I feel that you young guys are actually so much more engaged with these things. So that's one good thing I can say about internet and social media, that people are educating each other and sharing stories and supporting each other. So thanks for sharing that point of view, Imani, and we will discuss that again in future, the sexual assault, this rapey mentality you called it. Shakira, you wanted to say something in response to what Imani said?
And then we'll have Jamila giving us something from the UK.
It was just about the thing that she said, that there's a lot of people, you'll meet a lot of people in your life with rapey behavior. And I've said this several times, even like in both my old school that I was in from the age of 6 to I think around 16, and then the one that I'm in now, I've met several who for some reason just act that way. But even now, there's a guy that we have in our class who's just generally creepy. And he thought that it was really funny to always just like stare at people. He would hold girls' hands when they're like this, just put his hands on top and not like let you let go of his hands. And then he would stare at you the whole time and just ask, am I making you uncomfortable? Good. Because he thought that was just the most funny thing in the world. And I've said this to my friends so many times because he's still in our class. It's just less creepy now because his girlfriend doesn't like it. But I would never, and I already don't like him, but I would never, ever be able to trust my drink anywhere near that person. Because he just seems like he would find it funny to even just put something in your drink, like, haha, look at how messed up she is now. Or like he would probably do that to his friends too because he thinks it's hilarious. And I've had that in my old school as well, where I don't know why, but even my friends have said in their old schools that it became a trend when you hit around puberty, the guys would just grope girls because they thought it was hilarious. And it was just like, oh, just a joke, or you would pretend that it didn't happen. And they would think that the girls, I guess they thought the girls thought it was funny too, because you would nervously giggle. Because when you're being harassed, sometimes you start smiling like, okay, please leave me alone, because you don't know how to react. You're afraid that this person is going to attack you. So you start smiling and they're like, oh, see, she's smiling. She likes me. No. And also doing creepy things or taking pictures of people or holding their hands and thinking it's funny to make them uncomfortable is weird. It's really weird. And someday you're going to pick on the wrong person and you're going to get beat up. That's just me. He hasn't done that to me ever, but he did that to my friends and they would like gently let him, like, can you please leave me alone? But sometimes he's going to meet the wrong person. Maybe they have a boyfriend or just the girl themselves is too just like fed up with this kind of crap that they're going to beat him up.
Thank you, Shakira. You just reminded me from that story you said of when women repel men's advances and they just try to be nice because they don't want to be harassed further. And then they take that as like, oh, she likes it. And I remember we shared, I don't know if we shared this video of the police woman that was there for an arrest of a guy who started hitting on her. And she was just like trying to keep a straight face, and his deduction from that was that, oh, she likes me, and totally disrespecting a policewoman. There was a policeman there. He would never dream of making those kind of advances on a male policeman, but he thought he could. He was entitled to be, boys will be boys, messing around with the female policeman. And when she like backs away and just tries to be professional or civil, he takes that as, oh, she likes me. I agree with you, Shakira. Enough of boys will be boys. Teachers need to step in as well. I've had many stories, even with my girls when they're in school, boys behaving in a certain way, and the excuse given, even from female teachers, is boys will be boys. It's so cute. He likes you. No, 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 no. This is when it needs to be nipped in the bud. If a boy is going around Georgie Porgy, kiss the girls, and then everyone thinks it's funny, this kind of behavior, if it's not nipped in the bud from a young age, that's when things like this happen. I'll show you a video quickly.
As Shiko shows you a video, I want to make a comment that what you just mentioned there is normalized behavior. People normalize such kind of behavior, and it becomes, like you say, boys will be boys. And that's where the problem comes, that's such kind of behavior, rapey mentality, harassing is normalized by society.
Thank you, Keshi. And this will show you how normal it is, this video. I won't play all of it. Just this part where look at the age of these kids and see why it needs to be nipped in the bud earlier.
If a girl comes out in public with tight leggings and you can see something back there, I'm saying something.
Like if you're trying to like walk out and like not have guys try to track you, then try not to wear like tight clothes.
We don't want to be those guys.
We're trying to stop.
We're just being teenage boys.
It's my right as an American citizen to place whatever I want to say.
But is there intention to get?
Guys, you've just seen the very young guys, teenage boys, saying, well, if girls come out with tight clothes, you know, we're just teenage boys, we have to react. These are young boys. Are they gonna, I mean, the likelihood that they will grow into some other something is unlikely, you know, because of that mentality of boys will be boys. So this needs to be stopped. You saw the guy, the American guy in his 90s or whatever he was, with still that same mentality. I'm an American, freedom of speech, I can say whatever I want. This needs to change. Something needs to be done. So was it Jamila? And then after that, Shamsa, then we need to wrap this up, guys. Yes, Jamila.
Yeah, so a lot of you guys have actually been speaking on what I'm about to talk about. And it's about it not just being older men, and it actually being from the very beginning, maybe in primary school, they get this type of like on a roll, and then you can't stop that behavior. It's a lot harder to stop it unless you nip it in the bud from the very beginning. And there was a story about the hashtag Me Too movement that I'm sure all of you have heard about in British schools. And teenagers are basically, like teenage girls are basically telling their stories about sexual abuse and harassment from like boys in their schools with them. And it's like it's a website, and it was made for the girls to basically talk about their stories, like I said. And I just find it, at the end of the video that is shown, the police officer has been, you know, brought in to do something about it. But instead of him saying like, we need to sort out like and teach about how men shouldn't do this, he was like, oh, the girls need to, you know, come out more and put their stories up and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, we need to do that, but why is that how you think things are going to change? And I do think that this mentality of women having to do stuff to change is not enough, and it's never been enough till this day. But I do think it's very good that this site was put up there, because some people keep it on their own chest and they start to get, you know, anxiety and stress from over, like, you know, just thinking about it by themselves. But when they're able to put it onto a platform and have a lot of support from everyone, it kind of gives you the confidence to be like, I shouldn't allow this type of behavior, and people are on my side if this type of thing happens. And a lot of women go through it. So for younger girls to be able to do that anonymously as well, I think it's very good.
Oh, thank you very much, Jamila, for your point about this platform that has been created for girls to share in school, because this happens also in school. This is not just to adult women. This happens in schools a lot. There are assaults and the unwanted attention from men. Yes, Jamila?
The website's called Everyone's Invited.
Everyone's Invited. We're going to put a link to it in the description part of our YouTube video. Everyone's invited if anyone wants to go and share their story there.
Because as we talked, this kind of behavior is learned socially. These boys who are harassing women on the streets and in schools, they do it because they learn it from somewhere. They're learning it from home. They're learning it from men in their lives. It may be not at home, but from men in their lives somewhere. They're watching TV, and that is a social modeling they are seeing. According to social learning theory, people learn behavior by imitating the behaviors and attitudes and reactions of what they see and what they're exposed. So if we have allies, we have men who want to change this, then they can be examples, social models to these young boys, to show them this is not right. That's not the way to treat women. That's not the way to treat girls. And that's one of the ways this behavior can be changed right from the home. And mothers who are raising sons, talk to your sons. Tell them that behavior is not acceptable. So when we start from there, we start changing from the bottom, from the homes and upwards, then we can see changes. This is a social problem that needs to be eliminated. Women should not have to. Men have no right to have that kind of, what did we call it? Entitlement behavior, that I'm entitled to harassing you. I'm entitled to saying something if you're beautiful. No, you're not. What if it was reversed? I'll give an example of, let's say, a heterosexual man. If somebody who is gay comes and starts harassing them with sexual harassment, immediately they are like that. Why? They don't want it. Why can't it be the same with women and so on? Why does it have to be acceptable that if a man finds you attractive, he has a right to harass you? If you turn it the other way around and it happens to men, will they accept that? So this has to stop.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope that you found that discussion interesting and informative. Catch up with us as we continue with the rest of the topics. But for now, please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. See you next time.